Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, and I welcome all of you. Okay. The moment of truth is here. It's exam time. You might be thinking that this is where you need to put in a lot of effort, but you are wrong. Everything you have done so far has prepared you for this moment. You have taken good notes, you have read and highlighted your textbooks, you have written test questions for you to practice. So, how are you going to convert all of that into a better grade? You are going to self test. You are going to ask yourself those questions and you are going to do it early and often and focus on what you don't know and not waste time on what you have already know. So here is how. So dear students, we will discuss some tips for which will be help uh, you in your exams for preparation of your exams, and it will be a good opportunity to ask some questions and to know what how to prepare exam. Okay, so we will start now. So there are some tips, and we will be doing those. We will be discussing those tips, and inshallah, if you will follow these tips, it will be helpful for you in your exams, not only in your exams, but in your future also. So first of all, you need to know your goals and prioritize them. Okay, so in order to use time effectively, the most importantly, knowing your goal is a paramount. That particular job that is depriving you of venturing into other goals of yours, how important it is to you? Very important. Well, how does it support your goal and in life? It is anyway related to your goals. You must manage your time effectively. You must understand that channeling the time you have now to what matters the most is headway to not just do your preparation, but you can making use of your time effectively, but also achieving your goals. So it is important to have positive mindset, and number two technique is to imagine and to daydream. So you are writing in the exam in the hall, and you are trying to recall the specific answer in exam hall, and you had scored good marks. Number third skill is recognize your strength and weaknesses. And number fourth for goal setting is set realistic goals. Most of the time, students they don't set their realistic goals. They just have some goals which are not realistic, and they work on those goals. So your goals should be realistic. Number two tips, number two technique for preparing your exam is organizing well. So cramming is not the way. Can anyone tell me what is cramming? Can anyone tell me what is cramming? Cramming means, yes, anyone? You can just write in the chat box. Okay, cramming means to, uh, yeah, there is one student, Mr. Master Mithun, and he's writing that learning everything in one day means on the last moment you start your studies, and you prepare your for your exam. So cramming is not the way. You have to avoid cramming. Okay, there are two ways you can try to retain information for an exam. The first way is to wait until you are very close to the exam and then try to cram it all in. Cramming is highly stressful and woeful ineffective. It's not how to study for exams. The second and more effective way to do it is spaced repetition that involves doing frequent reviews of all your material over a long period of time leading up to your exam. Okay, so studies have shown there are so many people, they are doing surveys on the effective ways of learning. And according to one of the surveys, it is shown that it will improve your ability to retain information over a longer time. It's easier way to way less stressful and helps you identify things you don't know way before the exam. So the concept is pretty simple. It's just practice. Think of anything else that you are good in at. Maybe it's computers, chess, or cooking. It doesn't matter. The way people become good at anything is to learn one small skill and then keep building on each of those slowly over time. So learn new skills, but keep going back and practice the old ones. And pretty soon you are just good at it. And similarly for your subjects also, you can start from small lessons and then you can be expertise in these lessons and then you can carry on. Then spaced repetition is the concept behind flashcards, apps, and present cards. You get wrong more often than the ones you get right. When you took notes and read your textbooks, you wrote text questions. Each one of those questions is one of those small skills. So organizing your time well is the best way to avoid last minute stress and guilt. So, if you have been organizing your time since the beginning of the year, it will be easy for you to write this exam and stay motivated and set last minutes and set aside quality time for leisure, your friends, and your family. For instance, I will give you an example. Setting a weekly plan keeps you ahead for approaching deadlines. When estimating the amount of time necessary for each task, completing each of them is very feasible. So, now how to keep organized? Number one, your notes should be organized. Okay, if there is still there is some time left for your board exams, so what you can do, you can organize your notes. If you are not appearing board exams, you have much time for your exam. So what you can do, from now you can keep course notes together and separate from other courses and put notes in chronological order. Your notes should be in chronological order. And number third, to organize your notes, the tip is ensure you have all resources. Like, for example, you have textbooks, notebooks, worksheets, previous test papers, classmates, phone number, etc. Then you should be very organized in exam schedule. Like you are for example, all the resources you require to appear exam should be with you. Now this is all about documentation organization. Number second thing of organization, it is very important that you should be organized in your life. Like for example, you should be organized in your personal course, like for example your clothes, your uh, personal things, everything should be at the place. Like for example, it should be organized. Even if you have a family get together or something, so you have to adjust, you have to organize these events according to your convenience. Like for example, if the program starts, if one of the gathering of your family starts from 7 p.m. onwards till the night, like 11, 12. So what you can do, you can, there is no need to go from 7 p.m. there. You can go, like for example, in the last moment you could attend that and you can come back early to continue your study. So 1 hour is enough, I think. If you will go there for 9 to 10 or 8 to 9, it will be okay. No need to spend the whole all your time there, like, all right, okay. So organization means organization of your resources and organization of your life. Okay, these plays important role while doing preparing your exams. Number third is get rid of distractions. You see the word distraction vary to people. And what exactly makes your time never seem enough aside the important things you have to do. If it's something of no benefit to you, and of course it is stealing so much into your time, it should be considered as distraction. So what is distraction? And distraction varies for people to people. Like for example, for one student, the siblings could be the distraction, and for the another student, social media could be the distraction. So you have from this stage recognize your distractions. What is distracting you actually? Actually, what are your distractions? From now in this session, you should take out your notebook and pen and write down your distraction. What is actually distracting you from your studies? Okay. Can you write some of your distractions, dear students? Can you write some of your distractions till I continue? Write down your distraction in the chat box. Write down. Okay, one of the student, Vinila, she wrote that my yo-yo and Rubik's cube. Very good. Yeah, I told you that for distraction changes person to person. For me, for me, distraction could be something else, and for you, distraction could be something else. Like Rumesa, she wrote that siblings are the big distraction. Muhammad, he wrote that mostly siblings. Hajra, she wrote that my siblings. So most of the people, siblings are their distractions. So the way to handle it is you go to a separate place, okay, and they are in the home. You cannot take them out from home. So what you can do, you can increase your willpower. Don't be irritated from them, okay, or if possible have a different place to study, go away from them. And if they are bothering, you should train yourself that surrounding voices should not disturb you. Okay, so you should train yourself. Like for example, in the olden periods, people, or even if you will go to India, there are some people, they don't have big houses. Their kitchen, their living room, their dining room, their bedroom is just one hall, and in one room they are doing everything. How they manage? Imagine about them, and imagine about them that how they are managing their life. And from there are some students, they are the toppers nowadays. Okay, so imagine about them and think how they are living their life. Okay, and don't think that your siblings are your distraction. If they are becoming distraction for you, go to a separate place, and sometimes you can avoid the voices. So this is when your attitude will be positive. This will happen when your attitude will be positive, that okay, if my sibling is harassing me, I will not bother. Okay, I will not be bothered from them, and I will continue my studies. This should be our attitude. Okay, this should be our attitude. So and some of the students wrote that social media is their big distraction. Okay, yeah, social media is a big distraction, and I have already discussed this topic before in digital detox session, and how we can take a digital detox, and how we can keep ourselves away from all these social media and gadgets. Okay, so your distraction is your worst enemy. Okay, the distraction is the worst enemy, which is a hurdle, which is an obstacle in the path of success. So you should now think what are your distractions and try to work on them. Okay, number 4 is manage your time. Okay, study time isn't only about getting your assignments done, it's also about having time to those frequent reviews. When you manage your time well and get things done early, you will have plenty of study time blocks you can use for other things. Whenever you have extra study time and nothing due, it's tempting to just go have some fun. Don't waste it. Okay, so plan your test review time just like any other task. Identify specific study blocks and build it into your plan. Even the smallest study time blocks can be used for doing a quick review. Okay, so you can manage your time easily if you have control on your willpower. Again, like this is the second time I'm telling you that you have to increase your willpower. Like you can save yourself from distractions. Similarly, you can manage your time. Okay, so first of all, number one thing is you should not be a procrastinator. Procrastinator means a person who is delaying the task, who is delaying his studies from present to the future. Okay, so you should not be a procrastinator. Okay, and then you should manage your time effectively. That you should know the difference between your important plans and not important plans, and emergency and non-emergency things. You should have a power, you should know your, you should differentiate all these. Like for example, what is your priorities? Okay, priorities. And like for example, if there is an emergency, uh, you have to go to hospital, so this is an emergency and this will be a priority. Okay, so you have to go there. And sometimes you have guests, your parents are already attending these guests, and again you are sitting with them. This is not important. Okay, so this is not important. So what you can do, you can differentiate what is important, what is not important, what is priority and what is not priority. So this way you can manage your time. Now you have to create a steady schedule. First of all, number one thing is what time of the day you learn the best. Okay, you have to check, are you okay with the morning, like early sunrise, or are you okay in the evening after sunset, or what is, or afternoon. Okay, you have to check from now what is your best time of the day, you learn best, and what activities do you have to work around. Number third thing to manage your time is how many exams do you have, and according to that, you have to divide the portions you have to study. This way, you can manage your time. And the last thing to manage your time is how much time exists from now until exam, and you have to calculate, and accordingly, you have to plan. And the last thing is be realistic. For example, managing be realistic means why I am telling you that in time management you should be a realistic person. For example, your stamina of study is like 6 to 7 hours or 10 hours in the morning, and you are just sleeping 2 hours a day. So this is not a realistic time management. You have to think that sleep is also necessary. Okay, it is a part of your daily life, and it keeps you healthy. If you will avoid sleeping, this is not a realistic plan for achieving time management. Okay, number fifth is study smart. Okay, how far in advance should you start studying for an exam? How can and should start studying for your exam as soon as you have your first set of notes or have read your first chapter. Okay, so smart study techniques you should apply. Maybe your teachers have already discussed smart study techniques. There are many smart study techniques. Now I will discuss in brief, because I have taken before one session memorization techniques and some ways to for smart studies. Now we will discuss in brief that number one thing is do not just read over your notes. Use a combination of study methods. Do you know some study methods? How we study, like some memorization techniques or study methods? Any students, those who have attended the sessions earlier, they can also type. Okay, I'll say. There are some students are demanding that I should say some study techniques. Okay, most of the students they use common study techniques, like for example, reading, reading, reading. Okay, and the next step is writing, writing, writing. Okay, these two techniques are very common among students, but there are so many techniques. Like for example, wherever it is required, you can use picturization. Okay, then you can use flashcards, but this flashcard, don't make it during exam. Okay, don't waste your time in making good flashcards and writing and wasting time. You can make it earlier, like whenever your teacher finishes the lesson, you can make those flashcards. Okay, then listening is also a good habit. So and then you can use mnemonics. Okay, and acronyms. Mnemonics and acronyms means you for example, you have a rainbow. You have to memorize the sequence of the colors. Okay, so what you will do, rainbow means there are seven colors. Okay, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Without watching, I have told, without reading, I have told you this sequence. And you know how I am able to say you this sequence? I have made a word. Okay, like sequence of the word Vibgyor. Okay, Vibgyor. And from each initial word, I was able to name the color. So this is called as mnemonics and acronyms. Okay, so the next thing is you can just engage your emotions with the studies. Like for example, you can think more about the studies. You can connect the subjects with each other. For example, you are learning chemistry. Think that when at some level you can connect this chemistry to physics. Okay, or the science subjects you have studied in the past, like in when you were in lower grade, you have studied some subjects, and in those subjects there was some part of chemistry. Okay, so you can connect the subjects. You can connect your chapters with your emotions. Like for example, you can make jokes. Okay, you can make jokes on the paragraphs or some events in history, or some something do on it. Like the meaning of my saying is you can just do something on your matter, on your notes. Like for example, I will give you one example. There is an elephant. Okay, and a deer. Both are going in a jungle. Because elephant is heavy, elephant is able to leave its footprints. Okay, it leave its sharp footprints. And as compared to elephant, if you will see the footprints of the deer, it is very light. Similarly, in our brain there are some neurons. Okay, there are some paths which take the information to our brain, and which retrieve the information from our brain. Now if these neurons are not sharp, means you are not able to recall the memory. Okay, whatever we see, whatever we read, whatever we hear, it is in the folder of our brain, but we are not able to retrieve the information when it is required. You are stuck in the exam when you don't retrieve the information, right? So at that time, you think, okay, you can correlate the information, or you can make the information heavy when you were studying for the exam. Like if you will work on the information, like you will apply the different techniques. Like for example, if you will read, if you will write, if you will hear the information. Like for example, you have studied the chapter magnetism, and it is hard chapter for some of the students. Okay, so and it is dry also. What you can do, you can draw the pictures again and again. Okay, and you can relate your information according to the picture. And what else you can do? You can record your voice and you can listen again to again. And if you are doing these things on the information, like on the chapter magnetism, it will make a heavy prints like elephant in your brain. And for you, it will be easy to reach the information and to retrieve the information whenever it is required. So my aim to say this is work. You have to do, you have to work on your information. Like you can use the highlighter when you study, highlight some important points, use some sticky notes. Okay, use some sticky notes. And sometimes you can, what you can do, sometimes you can sometimes you can just recall the information with the page. Most of the student, they recall the information when they remember the page number, or when they remember the information was written on the left or right of the page or bottom of the page. If they will remember this, they recall all the information. Okay, so these are the ways to recall the information. So, and the next way to learn is to teach someone. If you don't have your friends, you can you can teach the same topic to your friends. And according to William Glasser, he was a psychiatrist and he has done many experiments. He said that if you will uh, teach someone, means 90% of what you teach to someone else is always in your brain. So you can use the teaching methods. If you don't have anyone to teach, okay, just sit down like this and record your teaching. Or what you can do, just keep your toys and pretend that you are teaching someone. If you don't have friends to teach, pretend that sit like this and explain your topic to to not anyone, means no one is there, just explain it. And it will be memorized very nicely. Okay, and the next is, now you have memorized everything, then the next step is self testing. Okay, in board exams you should self test yourself. uh, how you can self test? By solving past papers. Okay, or by solving the quizzes whatever you have in the form of past papers, or in the at the back of the textbook, or the papers from internet or online, whatever you have, you can test. If you will just memorize, and if you will just learn, you won't be confident. So before board exam, just solve all the past papers. And this is the time, like for example, in India, most of the coaching classes, they finish their syllabus in the month of, before the month of December. And in the, from the month of December, they just start mock tests, they just start quizzes. So this improves the confidence of the students. And it not only improves the confidence of the students, but it also make it clear that how the exam pattern will be. Because sometimes there are simple questions, but they ask in such a way by twisting the questions. So if you will solve these questions, you will be able to solve all kind of questions, all sorts of questions. So self testing is very important. And the next is study in the chunks. Like study in the chunks means, according to science now, it is proved that if you study for marathon sessions, like for example, if you study for 1 hour continuously, 2 hour continuously, the effect is not good. But if you study for 30 minutes, then you take a break of 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And I'm not telling just a break, I'm telling you effective break. If you take an effective break of 10 minutes or 5 minutes without social media, without mobile, like for example, in the break you can help your siblings, you can talk to your grandparents, you can help your parents, you can talk to your parents, or you can do gardening, or you can do house chores. Okay, so this is called as effective break. I don't mean here the simple break with the gadgets, no. If you will take the break with the gadgets, it will affect your eyes. Okay, so you should take a healthy and effective break okay, of 5 to 10 minutes, and in the chunks you should study like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you should study, and then you can take a break of 10 minutes. Okay, so these were all study techniques. Now before an exam, to know what is going to be on the exam, organize the material need to be studied into 40 minutes portion, take a break after each portion. Before an exam, eat well and well rested. Do not watch TV or play computer games. When you study something, there is a term, reheterobiation. And what is the meaning of this term is, when you study something, the material is in your brain. But if you do something else, like for example, if you watch TV and you collect the information which is not required at that time, so your previous information is erased a little bit. So don't reheterobate, means don't overlap your previous information with the new unnecessary information. Okay, and on the day of exam, show up 10 minutes early and take a good sleep. Have everything you need with you. Dress properly, and you don't just mug up all the formulas just before the exam. You, relax your brain. Some students, what they do, till till the means they reach the exam center, they just mug up formulas this way. They are standing in front of their exam room and they just mug up the formula. No, your brain should be relaxed. Okay, just before the exam, 5 minutes or 10 minutes earlier, what you can do, inhale and exhale. Okay, like inhale twice and then exhale 4 times, inhale thrice and exhale 6 times. Like this you can do the exercises to relax your brain. Your brain should be relaxed before the exam. Okay, so these were all tips, how to smart study and how to prepare yourself just before the exam. Okay, so and the next thing is, you can pray to God that you should be passed in your exam. Okay, and now I will say best of luck to all the students, and make your intention clear for your exams. And last thing I will say, that no exam is bigger than your life. Okay, no exam is bigger than your life, and no examiner is bigger than your God. Remember this, because most of the students, when they don't achieve their goals, okay, when they don't achieve their goals, what they do, they just feel, they are just stressed. Okay, and most of the students, after failing in the exam, they do suicide. Okay, so uh, you have to be confident that, okay, this time if you didn't do, maybe next time you will do. Okay, so and you should understand yourself and your capacity. Okay, 4 hours and 3 hours of sleep is not enough. So you can have 6 to 8 hours of beauty sleep, even if your room is throw you out of the window. So you have to be you have take good, you should sleep for 6 to 8 hours. Okay, and you should take care of your health also. Eating good means, if you will eat good, it will help you. Okay, if you will eat good, it will help you to have a stress free exam. And you can improve your health with the help of omega 3 foods, like vegetables and colorful uh, vegetables and colorful fruits. So this was all about exam preparation technique. Okay, I pray to God that you reach you reach your goals and you achieve whatever you have decided, and may you have all achieve good goals, and may you pass the exam. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, bye, take care everyone.